Here's a Yorkshire Childhood, Chapter 29, entitled A Golden Golf Ball. It was something he had only seen previously on TV, and he edged close to see what was going on. Josh made sure to hide himself behind a big oak tree as he didn't want to be noticed. In the distance, he could see people dragging carts down the hill. A ball flew past him and caught his eye. It landed 15 feet from him with a soft thud and rolled gently to a stop. He could see the people pulling the carts walking slowly towards him, and then he heard another thwack in the distance, and this time another golf ball rolled past him on the green and stopped just before the flag. Josh knew nothing about golf, but he knew it was a good shot. More people were walking towards him, dressed in funny coloured clothes and swinging clubs. He was surprised to hear the crack of a twig above him, and then a small rustle in the leaves around his feet. He kicked the leaves away, and a flash of yellow met his eyes. He bent down to pick it up and was amazed to see a bright yellow golf ball. He'd never heard of or seen a white golf. He'd heard of and seen white golf balls before, but he'd never heard of a yellow one. It looked almost golden. Many other boys would have been tempted to pocket it and walk away, but Josh wasn't one of them. He waited for the gentlemen to make their way down the fairway, and then he lobbed the ball in their direction and didn't wait for their thanks. It was time to head home as the evening was drawing in, and he was satisfied with another eventful day. Tom was pleased with his story and surprised as he had never heard of a yellow golf ball either. After dinner, Tom was so tired that he fell asleep on his bed, and when he woke, the house was dark and quiet, and he silently went downstairs for a glass of water. It was difficult not to make noise, and each step produced a creaking sound, no matter how careful he was. He was relieved to be back in bed, and he fell into a deep sleep again. When he woke, the room was dark, and a strange burning smell was in the air. Josh lifted himself up and looked round the room. There was a little moonlight coming through a chink in the curtain, and he could just make out a wardrobe and then the desk of drawers. His hair stood on end as a figure seemed to slowly appear at the edge of his bed. Josh closed his eyes and opened them again. He hoped it was his dad, but unfortunately it wasn't. The figure was still there. The figure was dressed in an old World War One uniform. The figure's face looked haggard, even though he was probably only about 18. The smell of burning grew stronger in the room, and Josh forced himself to get out of bed. He really didn't want to look at the airmen again, but he had no choice.